everyone, I'm Molly, and today we're going to talk about how to set up a sewing space for your child at home. We're going to go through some of the supplies you need to get them started, some materials they can start using for projects, and we're briefly going to talk about the sewing machine to get started. All of the supplies you see listed here are available on our Amazon shop, which you can find on our website and also underneath this video. So we're using the Singer heavy duty machines. Like all machines, they have a pedal attached to them that goes underneath the table. One thing I just want to point out is for sewers who are younger or just maybe on the shorter end of things, it can be hard for them to reach the pedal comfortably. So when you're setting up your space, you just want to double check with your child seated that they can actually reach the pedal with their foot. If they can't, we just like to use a container or a shoebox as a booster. So you can simply place this underneath the pedal on the floor and just check that it's the right height for them to reach. They should be able to reach this comfortably. Then over here with our supplies, the first thing we have is thread. There are all different types of thread out there. The kind that we recommend for sewing with kids is 100% polyester all-purpose thread. So you'll see somewhere on the spool, it will say 100% polyester. Spools from different companies come in different types. So these are all the same kind of thread, just different brands or different amounts. On the Coats & Clark brand, you'll see on this side, it says 100% polyester. And then on this side, it will say all-purpose. Definitely don't get nylon thread. Don't get rayon thread. You can sometimes get away with cotton thread. It's just not quite as strong. Then we have pins. So these are essential. They're going to need pins in their sewing projects. We recommend these longer quilting pins. They usually have the yellow top on them, and because they're a little bit longer than normal pins, they're easier for kids to handle. We also really recommend getting a magnetic pin cushion. So everyone's used to that little tomato pin cushion, which is nice, and you can make do with that, but with kids, cleaning up with a magnetic pin cushion just makes things much easier. Then we have a packet of sewing needles. If you have a new machine, your machine will have come with sewing needles. But if you aren't sure, or maybe you've used all of them, you can't find them, it's a great idea to have a new packet. And you can see the ones that we use with kids most often are a 90/14. So 90/14, that is the size. And when you open it up, the needles are packaged inside, and we will also have a video on how to replace a sewing machine needle. It's something that kids occasionally break on the machine. They're very simple to put back in. And then we have scissors. So we recommend fabric scissors. So these are smaller Fiskars scissors. Again, those are going to be linked on our Amazon shop. It's really good idea to just have a pair of scissors for them that's specifically for fabric. You may also want to get for yourself a pair of adult-sized scissors as well. And then safety pins really come in handy when we're threading cords or elastic. Just have a little pile of those. They're going to be needing to mark parts of their pattern on their fabric. So just getting a mixed box of regular chalk, just chalkboard chalk, or you can use these special chalk pencils. I really like this Clover brand. They usually come in a pack of pink, white, and blue. They're a little bit more expensive, a little nicer to use, but regular chalk will do just fine. Then we have the seam ripper here. So this is used to take out mistakes, take out stitches. For kids, we recommend the longer and the bigger size seam ripper as opposed to this little one. This is just a little easier for them to hold on to. This might come with your machine. Again, if you don't have one of these, this will do just fine. Then needles. So for hand sewing, they're going to need hand sewing needles. We recommend these embroidery needles in a size 1 to 5. They're just easier for them to thread because they have a bigger eye, and they're longer, so easier for them to handle. And you can just cut out a little piece of felt or fabric to keep them from getting lost. Your machine will come with a set of bobbins. If you don't have any or you're running low, it doesn't hurt to get a few. So your machine manual will tell you what size you need. Usually they come without thread on them, but you may be able to find some that are pre-wound like this. And that way your child doesn't have to stop to wind a bobbin in the middle of the project. They can just put in a pre-wound one. Then embroidery floss is the thread that we use most often for our projects. Again, it's thicker, it's easier for them to handle, it doesn't get knotted as quickly. You can buy them in packs of all different colors, and then you can wind them onto a bobbin in order to use them. And we also have a video on how to wind your embroidery floss onto a bobbin. And then the last thing here in this section is a needle threader. So this just makes it easier if you or your child is having a hard time threading a needle. It sort of does it for you. And again, we'll be going over that in our embroidery video. So moving on to some of the materials that kids can use for projects. Right here we have our fabric. So we recommend using 100% cotton quilting weight fabric with kids. It's just easier for them to manage. It's not slippery. Usually comes in all kinds of fun prints. And most of our projects are going to involve this type of quilting cotton fabric. We also tend to use a lot of felt in our projects. So this can be bought either in sheets or by the yard. Again, comes in a lot of fun colors. Then of course, buttons. So kids can spend hours playing with buttons, sewing buttons on. They come in just like a mixed bag that you can get with all different sizes, shapes, colors. So that's always fun. For any sort of embroidery work, it's really nice to have an embroidery hoop. And we will go over this again in the embroidery video, so you can look for that if you're looking for embroidery projects and how to set those up. And then lastly over here, and this is really only appropriate for older kids or kids that have been sewing for a while, but if your child knows how to put in a zipper, you can buy packs of these colorful zippers as well for little bags, zippered pouches, all kinds of stuff like that. So thanks so much for watching. We hope that you enjoy getting a space set up for your kid to sew at home, and we look forward to seeing what you make.